If you're interested in stimulus checks of $2,000, Social Security increases of $200 per month, or any of the unfulfilled promises that were made by Congress that are yet to be seen, you're going to want to watch this video all the way through. I'm going to get into the details with you in this video, put it on the screen, read right from the articles so you can see it for yourself. As I reported this to you last night, some breaking news that just came out, as a lot of people think that Congress has forgotten about them and the stimulus funds, and that is not the case. I discovered last night from some of my own research, this is not from news outlets, this is not from any other YouTube channels or anything, I found that Congress has not forgotten about the stimulus funds. As a matter of fact, I saw last night they just spent more funds. Now, like I said, we're going to dive into all the details, and I know this is probably going to be upsetting news to a lot of people, but if you appreciate the updates, do me a quick favor, smash the like button, helps out my channel, and if you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. I'll let you know everything that's going on that I find, so that way you can stay informed about what's available for you and your family or what to prepare for. Now, let's get right to it. Now, what you're looking at right here is the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. Anybody can look this up. It's at covidmoneytracker.org, where they're keeping track of all of the pandemic funds that have been issued to help out throughout the course of the pandemic. Now, you can see there's administrative actions, legislative actions, Federal Reserve actions, and this is a tracker for us to be able to see what is going on with the funds. These are all the funds that have been issued from previous stimulus packages. Now, what we saw at the turn of the year in 2022 was there was $800 billion of leftover funds that were untouched from stimulus money. That's right. So they sent out all the checks, all of the unemployment, all of these different things. Still, $800 billion was just sitting there. Well, take a look at this. As of September of 2022, that amount had dropped down to $600 billion. So $200 billion of the leftover funds got spent somewhere. There was not new stimulus checks. There was not new stimulus funds that were issued out, but $200 billion went missing. Now, in addition to that, here's a look at what happened in October. It dropped down to $500 billion, as $5.5 trillion was recorded as being spent of the $6 trillion through legislative action or leftover stimulus money. And as of last night, take a look at this. Now, this is very important. I'm going to be explaining why here in just a second. There's now $5.6 trillion that's been spent, which means there remains $400 billion of leftover funds for stimulus. Now, you might be thinking, well, cool, there's still $400 billion left over for us. What is the issue? This is a major issue, and here's why. When we take a look at the breakdown for the legislative funds, what's available, you can see here direct payments. These are the federal level stimulus checks that went out to everybody in the nation. You can see the $1,400, the $1,200, and the $600 with their price tags. Now, you can see that the smallest one, the second stimulus check of $600, that had a price tag of roughly $164 billion. The first one at $1,200 had a price tag of almost $300 billion. And the third stimulus check of $1,400, that had a price tag of a little over $400 billion, which literally means that the promises that we've received from the Biden administration, from those in Congress, saying that we would get a fourth federal level stimulus check of $2,000 with the leftover funds that remain for the pandemic, it is literally impossible at this point, because we don't even have enough funds to send out a $1,400 check to everybody, let alone a $2,000 check. As of them spending that $100 billion and it being recorded, it is now impossible for the current funds to send out a $2,000 check. That means in order for them to fulfill that promise, Congress would need to pass more legislation to issue out new funds. Congress holds the power of the purse. And at this present time, let me know your thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong. Republicans and Democrats don't see eye to eye, and having them in a split Congress come to an agreement for more pandemic funding doesn't seem very likely. Now, with the existing funds that are just sitting there, the president could have used executive actions to issue out a stimulus check, maybe Social Security increases, child tax credits. Those funds, he has the legal authority to take them, repurpose them, and send them out for whatever he sees fit. And it's been done before. Former President Donald Trump had issued the LWA program, where he took existing disaster relief FEMA funds and sent it out to enhance and extend out unemployment benefits when they ran out during the pandemic. So this was a possibility, but now it is no longer possible for a $2,000 check to go out to everybody in the nation with the current existing funds. And that breaks the promises that were made. And I know a lot of people say, what promises? Well, some people have forgotten. We have not forgotten here on this channel. I am keeping tabs on all of these things for you guys every day. Take a look. Let's go down memory lane very quickly before we get to some more updates on Social Security. Back in the Georgia Senate runoff elections, Democrats closed with a populist pitch of vowing $2,000 stimulus checks. This was for Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, who won those. People were saying, okay, now we're going to see $2,000 stimulus checks. Take a look. Fate of the $2,000 stimulus checks could be determined by the Georgia Senate runoff elections. This was January 5th of 2021, and people were expecting to see that check. And even members of Congress were telling the president, you've got to make good on your promises. If you say you're going to send out a check and the people vote for the Democratic Party to be in control, now it needs to be done. Take a look. Senator Bernie Sanders presses Joe Biden on a $2,000 stimulus check promise. The promise must be kept. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont pressures President-elect Joe Biden for the $2,000 checks in a tweet on Wednesday, saying, if you tell the American people something, you got to do it. Now, in addition to that, we saw then right after that, the third stimulus check of $1,400 coming out, and they said that is not the promise. That is not good enough. We heard that from Bernie Sanders. Take a look. Even AOC, $1,400, $2,000. The stimulus check debate explained. Joe Biden wants to add $1,400 to the previous round of stimulus checks of $600. AOC wants a clean $2,000. As she said, listen, $1,400 is not $2,000. You cannot tell people $2,000 and then say, oh, but we're going to subtract the $600 check from before. You need to make good on your promise, and we still have leftover funds. Let's send out a $2,000 stimulus check. But with the news coming out of them spending the money, that means that at this present time, they will not be able to fulfill that promise. Now, we will see, because right now we're in the middle of a recession where things are really bad. We're hearing it's going to get worse. And we've seen that recessions are the number one indicators for stimulus. The pandemic was not the first round of stimulus checks. We've had them in the past. We will have them in the future. And they're saying that it's likely the next recession we will see them again. And a lot of people are saying that's right now. Now, in addition to that, a lot of people are upset with the unfulfilled promises for Social Security, and I've been letting you know, 2023 right now, there is a lot going on with Social Security, and a lot of people are saying, I don't remember him making a promise of that. Well, I did not forget. Take a look at this. Back in March of 2020, President Joe Biden said that we should also increase monthly Social Security checks by $200 per month, as proposed by Senator Wyden and colleagues. Seniors and people with disabilities are uniquely at risk right now. So he had said, right now, we need to increase Social Security. That was one of the promises that were made, one of the things that was suggested when he was running for presidency. However, a couple years in now, still yet to see those fulfilled. Now, it has come back to the forefront, and I'm keeping you up to date on it. As take a look at this. Just recently, Bernie Sanders reintroduced a bill that he had in 2022, the Social Security Expansion Act, which would provide an additional $2,400 a year to all Social Security recipients across the board, keeping good on that promise of an additional $200 per month. Now, he had released this, and we're hearing at this present time, the president is taking this into consideration. He's eyeing this proposal. However, the issue with it is President Joe Biden had also promised that anybody making less than $400,000 a year would not see an increase in their taxes. And in that Social Security Expansion Act bill that Bernie Sanders had released, it proposes taxation on everybody making $250,000 a year or more to solve the Social Security issue. So President Joe Biden is saying that would break another promise of his that he does not want to break. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But take a look. This just came out February 13th of 2023. Press release from Bernie Sanders as they released that Social Security Expansion Act to extend the solvency of Social Security, enhance the benefits, change the way it's calculated, and in total reform of Social Security. Now, at this present time, we are still yet to see if that's going to come to fruition. I will let you guys know here on the channel, as that, along with child tax credits and other provisions, have been promised to help out the American people. And a lot of people feel like, you know what? These are unfulfilled promises that have gone on for years. They're probably never going to fulfill them. But at this time, there's a lot more starting to come up on them. Now, in addition to that, when I reported this live to you last night about the money being spent from the COVID money tracker, I let you know about state, city, and county checks, as there's a lot available right now. I've got over 100 different ones. I went through the list on my live yesterday. So if you missed that live, be sure to check it out. And in addition to that, yesterday, I also reported to you some of the fighting going on over Social Security as Mitt Romney he lost it yesterday, discussing some of the issues with Social Security and the Biden administration. So if you missed those, check them out right after this one as I gave updates on it so you can stay informed. But with that being said, you guys, that is the latest. I reported this last night, but wanted to put it on the screen so you could see it. I think it's very important for people to actually be able to see the reporting and know it's the latest. But with that being said, thank you so much for joining me. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe to stay up to date, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.